Good morning, big fella. How are you?
I'm doing great, gentlemen. What's going on?
Well, we get ready for a big game week finally here in Baton Rouge. We've talked about this LSU team for the last 5 weeks. They've traveled to Austin, got the big game win there, and now they're hosting one here in Baton Rouge. You know what it feels like in these parts when LSU is in the middle of a big game, and this weekend they may be in the biggest.
Well, it's definitely a different vibe. It's a different feel on campus. It's a different feel in the classroom. It's a different feel when you go to TJ Ribs, like all around this town. And I think everyone is probably like me right now. They got the same feel. They want to really see, is LSU for real? Is this new offense going to be able to travel and go against one of the top 10 defenses in America? And I told you guys this a few weeks ago. This is the game that I've been pointing to. It'll be the first time that when LSU's offense is on the field, they will be matched up against athletes that are capable of matching their athleticism man for man. And so now it comes down to, can we execute and can we perform at a high level against equal competition? So this is the game that I've been waiting on. Defensively, it's time to put up or shut up, you know. We've heard that the defense is going to get better. They're going to do some different things. I couldn't think of a better atmosphere, man. I've played in a lot of places. I've been in a lot of venues, and there's still no venue like Tiger Stadium at night. And I sure wish I could be there, but I'll be watching, man.
Boog, if you had to kind of just break down what LSU's offense needs to do against this defense, you wanted to really simplify it. Is it as simple as those tackles being able to win the one-on-ones versus Greenard and Zuniga and that Florida pass rush?
Well, I think that's part of it. I think what you got to be able to do is keep your quarterback clean. Now, that doesn't mean you always got to block them. You know, you got to screen them. You got to chip them. You got to do different things. I think Emory's going to have a big game. I know, you know, it's been a lot of Clyde Edwards-Helaire and a lot of Davis, but I generally think that when you look at what Emory can do, I think this game is tailor-made for him. Speed and space. Against that defense, I look for number 4 to play a big role on Saturday night.
Be a pair of NFC matchup this weekend with the Packers and the Lions on Monday Night Football is where Boogs will be next. You were in San Francisco earlier this week. More surprising performance, Boogs, San Francisco and that group, or the setbacks that Cleveland continues to face?
Probably the setbacks that Cleveland faces. I've been high on San Francisco for a long time. I think Kyle Shanahan is as good as it gets in America on any level at calling plays and designing schemes and things of that nature. So I've been high on them. As long as the quarterback stays healthy, they have what it takes to be able to travel and play anywhere, anytime, any place. You know, Cleveland is a little bit of a mystery, man, because they have talent, but the talent doesn't always play together. They're up and down. They're still trying to figure out what their identity is. And so I knew they were going to struggle, but I just didn't think they struggled to the level of getting housed on Monday Night Football.
Boog, let's look forward to Sunday and look forward to what is the biggest matchup in the NFL. It's not the Super Bowl. It's the Tua-per Bowl or the Tua-per Bowl, as the winless Washington Redskins are going to take on the winless Miami Dolphins in Miami. I mean, this is a fascinating game. Both teams trying to lose for Tua. What do you think, Boog? Who can get it done?
Well, I think that, you know, Washington fired their coach. Anytime you fire the coach and you get a new voice in the room, usually the team plays a little better. I think Washington is a little bit more talented than Miami, and so if you ask me, I would probably lean toward the Redskins, although I don't think that they're going to go after Tua because they just took Haskins last year. So
you think if they had the first overall pick, they wouldn't take Tua?
Yeah, T-Bob, that doesn't make sense. Like, if you bought a Mercedes-Benz in 2000, would you go buy a BMW in 2001?
Rosen Murray? I mean, Rosen Murray in Arizona? I mean, it's not unprecedented, especially you get a new regime in there, new head coach. Like, maybe he doesn't want Haskins.
Here's the common denominator. The owner chose Haskins. So regardless of who the owner picks, the owner is still going to be there.
Okay, we'll see. I would be shocked if whoever has the first overall pick doesn't take Tua. Even if it's Washington, we'll see though. So you do think that Washington gets the win though?
Yes, I do think Washington gets the win, and if Washington winds up with the number 1 pick, I will bet you something that matters to you that they don't take Tua.
Okay. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
What about the Saints? Again, we had the conversation last week about their impressive win versus Dallas. Now another week, they go by, and Teddy Bridgewater did what he did on Sunday. 4 touchdowns, 300 yards. It's the first time he's done that since 2015. And then the Saints on defense, Boog. I mean, they're flying around at 5 sacks.
Somebody found Marcus Davenport and brought him to the NFL.
Oof.
He is playing at a very high level right now. The production is starting to match the physical physique. Teddy Bridgewater, it's amazing how everyone wanted to make a referendum about the Ram game when he came in.
Yeah.
And then now you look at him when he gets a week to practice, how he played in Seattle, gets another week to practice, how he played against Tampa. And you're starting to see why the Saints made him the highest paid backup in football. So, Teddy Bridgewater is a starting quarterback. I think he's in the same category as Jacoby Brissett. Even though he was a backup, he has starter capability. And, if and when he wanted to start, he probably could have started somewhere this year. I think, with Sean Payton signing on for another 5 years, I don't think Drew Brees is going to play 5 more years. And so I think if you're a Saints fan, you're getting a glimpse into what it's going to look like when Sean Payton and Teddy Bridgewater walk down the aisle together and, become a pair that's going to move forward into the future.
What type of respect do the Saints defense have around the league?
I think it's different in that dome than it is maybe elsewhere.
Makes sense.
It's always been that if you get that team in that dome with that crowd, they play to a different level. They struggled last year on the back end. The back end is seemingly a little bit better, meaning the secondary. So we'll see just kind of where they go. If Davenport can continue to elevate his play with Cam Jordan, now you get a healthy Sheldon Rankins going. They are a very formidable team, and they're going to be a tough out come January.
Boog, I know you said that stats are for losers, but Marcus Davenport this year is the only pass rusher in the NFL that is getting pressures on over 20% of his pass rush attempts. So he's been pretty damn good so far this season. Talking to Monday Night Football's Booger McFarland, I want to talk to you about the NFC West. Niners 4-0, Seahawks 4-1, and here comes the Rams at 3-2. Like, everybody just thought the Rams are the class of that division. What have you changed here in these first 5 games?
No, because I still think that the Rams are the most explosive team. The one thing that bothers me is the Rams on defense. Marcus Peters, I'm still looking for him. I don't think he started 2019 yet. He's been giving up, just long pass after long pass. Seattle and San Francisco have an identity, and that identity is we're going to run the football, we're going to be physical, we're going to rush the passer, and right now Russell Wilson is the MVP. Like, if the season stopped today, Russell Wilson would win the MVP trophy, and I think that's pretty unanimous. And so I'm not going to say the Rams are an afterthought, but it wouldn't surprise me if you got 3 teams from that division make the postseason.
And another surprisingly good division right now, Boog, the NFC North, everybody with winning records, and y'all got a great Monday night matchup coming up with Detroit going to Green Bay. Do you have a lead dog in that division?
Green Bay. Green Bay looks really the part. You got Preston Smith, Darius Smith on defense. The defense led by Mike Patton is playing better. And, Aaron Rodgers really hadn't gotten going yet,
Yeah, that's what's wild.
It's true.
Yeah, the Green Bay offense is just kind of, moving along slowly, not really giving you much. And, when that thing starts clicking on all cylinders in Green Bay, I think they're going to be fun to watch.
So help me out, Boog, because this is something that we talked about a lot with LSU lately, right, is like the interplay between offense and defense. Has the fact that the Packers are playing a little more on the ground, rushing attack, like a little more ball control, is that a factor in why this Green Bay defense has been so improved? It always fascinates me about how sometimes suddenly a team's defense gets good, and then all of a sudden the offense isn't what it used to be, and vice versa.
Well, normally what happens, if your offense is pretty good and they can control the ball, now your defense usually gets a little bit more rest. And so when you have more rest, you can play at a higher level. When you have more rest, Now there's more time on the sideline where your coaches can make adjustments and scheme and et cetera. Now, if your offense is 3 and out, then not only are you tired, but you don't have time to make adjustments. So offense and defense go hand in hand. I think the emphasis happens a lot when you get the coach who is an offensive or defensive coach. That's where the emphasis goes. Just look at Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley's an offensive coach, and he could care less about the defense, which is why they've never been able to stop anybody.
Yeah.
So I just think you got to be balanced and try to have a balanced attack, and hopefully, the Saints, when Breeze gets back, the offense and defense will complement each other. Hopefully in Baton Rouge this weekend, the defense and offense can complement each other, and you get the total package.
You're one of these guys in the program that is considered, one of these elite defensive tackles that have come through here, Glenn Dorsey. Tyler Sheldon right now is wearing number 72, and there's been a lot of motivation around him to get him right. Through the first part of this season, he's been playing as consistent as anybody on that team. You've got great relationships in the program and with players. What do you think of his play, and what can he be when it's all said and done?
Well, I think he can be a really good player. I think the biggest emphasis early on was just trying to get in shape and get ready to play. It's one thing to be able to play and make a play here and there, but how do you become dominant? Dominant players play consistently, and they dominate over the course of a game, not just here and there. So he's got a lot of talent. I think, everyone has always known that. His ability, though, to play consistently and do the little things is ultimately going to determine where he goes down, in the great lore of LSU defensive tackles. He's not there yet. Like, he's somewhere in Metairie, and he's got to get to Baton Rouge. But it's still doable. He's got a long way to go, but he's definitely got the talent.
Did they ask you to be the guest picker, or did they confide in you for the guest picker? Did they ask your thoughts on who it should be?
No, nobody reached out to me. I was kind of hoping that they hit me up or something, but I guess I'm not big time enough. Maybe they're gonna hit up James Carville or somebody on the political side. I don't know.
Boring.
I
That'd be
hope
terrible.
not. I hope
Who would you pick, Boog? You pick one person, not yourself.
Not myself, the guest picker. Wow. If I could get Shaq, that's always a home run.
Shaq seems to be the consistent.
That's kind of that seems to be everybody's common denominator.
LSU win on Saturday night?
I think they do. I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game. And by high-scoring, I mean it'll be played in the 20s. And I think that Joe Burrow is going to prove that what we've seen so far hasn't been a fluke. I went back and watched some tape, and he's making some throws. He missed a couple of easy ones against Utah State, but overall this season he's been playing at a high level. And so I look for him to continue to do that. And, let's watch for David Aranda. Everybody's dogging him.
Yeah.
David Aranda can't coach anymore. David Aranda's lost his fastball. Something tells me he's got a few 97-mile-an-hour cutters left.
7:15 on Monday night. Boog and Joe Test will be in Lambeau Field for the matchup of Green Bay and the Detroit Lions, a pair of winners there in the NFC North Division. Have a good call. We'll talk to you next week.